Thank you, Cathaoirleach, and thank you for helping with the administration of that. Minister, this is a question I take on behalf of Colin Burke, but I think, in fact, I take it on behalf of many people with a strong interest in the answer to this question around inheritance tax thresholds, having regard to the progressivity of the income tax system, the progressivity of the local property tax system, and obviously the rise in house prices, and what your view is on that following the Commission on Taxation report this week.
Thanks very much, and thank you to the Deputy for raising this important matter. As you are aware, capital acquisitions tax is a tax which applies to both gifts and inheritance. The relationship between the person giving a gift or inheritance and the person who receives it determines the maximum amount known as the group threshold, below which CAT does not arise. As you will be aware, I'm not in a position to indicate any decisions that I'm going to make in a detailed way in advance of the budget, but I did, in responding back to the proposals in Commission on Taxation and Welfare, did make very clear that in general I don't have any plans to increase the amount of inheritance tax that people pay at the point in which an inheritance takes place. I fully appreciate how sensitive a matter this is for many, many families. I appreciate that, at moments of death and of difficulty within their families, these issues are sensitive and we need to be fair to them. So in general, that's my view on the matter. I made this clear when the Commission was published there last week, but in terms of any detailed responses that I might make, particularly in light of the changes that have happened in the value of homes over recent years, you'll appreciate and understand, Deputy, if I can't go any further than that for now.
I appreciate that, Esther, and thank you for your response. And I sometimes wonder, of this, people really understand who's concerned about it and who's bothered by it. It's as if it's all, millionaires and billionaires that are somehow going to benefit from this. But I keep thinking about this woman just off Johnstown Road in my own constituency who has paid off her mortgage with after-tax income, who has her husband is a mechanic. She hasn't had a new car since 2007, or any change in her car since 2007. She has two daughters that she has put through college, that she has supported with their education, who are nurses now, earning nurse salary, working extremely hard in hospitals in Dublin, living in Wicklow. And what she's concerned about is making provision for her family, and it's a very primal sort of concern. She would say to me, she's not a rich woman. She's not flahula with her money in any way. She is a woman who has worked hard. She has never received anything from the state. She has never sought anything from the state. She has put every penny she has into her family's education, into making a home for them, into providing a home for them. And her concern now is not her daughter's concern on the point of her death, but her reconciliation with herself, that she has made provision for them. And so the questions around inheritance tax, they deeply upset people, imagining that there would be some enormous change, because people have the primal, deep feeling about how they make provision for their children and being stable and concerned about that. And that's why I think this debate is so important.
Thanks very much, Deputy. And I absolutely do take your point. You have our citizens who've worked so hard in their lives, particularly those citizens who worked in our country at a time in which tax rates are far higher than they are now, which interest rates on the properties that you're referring to are far higher than they are even today, or may even become. And then, of course, as they do all of that, then they begin to think about their children, and they begin to think about other family members, and this is a really important decision for them. So that's why I'm just pleased to confirm yet again to you, Deputy, that in general I'm not planning any significant changes in this area at the moment, and any detailed matters in relation to this always do await budget day and the decision that we make. But the point that the Deputy makes to me this morning is well made, and I know so many families, as all members of the House do, who've worked hard during their lives, are now thinking about the future and thinking about what will be the decisions that they may have to make. And I understand the point that you're making.
Yes, and it's an altruistic position, because of course what the person is trying to do, as you say, Minister, is make decisions in the best interests of perhaps not themselves, but their children, and helping their children to plan their lives. And as you say, these mortgages are paid off after tax income, from net income, with tax rates extremely high and with no other source of support from the state. And it's about the certainty that's being able to be given to people at, you know, a time of deep uncertainty that we've had through COVID, and a potentially a time of uncertainty of unknown duration. And people are, you know, they can cling to something that is certain, which is that they've paid off their mortgage and they know that they've done that. And to be able to care for their children and make provision for their children in particular, not always other family members, but that very primal concern. And I thank the Minister for his answer this morning. I think it will give important comfort to people the type of people whom I've described, who have worked extremely hard in this state, as teachers, as nurses, as all of these different professions, the ordinary people of Ireland who have paid off their mortgages and who genuinely are concerned about this.
Yeah, thanks very much, Cathaoirleach, and I thank the Minister for his response and reassurance that the capital acquisitions tax will not rise in the budget. I can't really better what Deputy Carol McNeill has had to say in terms of the position that's a very, relatively small number of people in the state find themselves in, having paid extortionate interest rates in the 80s, high taxation, among other things, and want to support the future of their children when they pass. I'm not a fan nor a supporter of this sort of taxation, but I recognise that it does make a valuable contribution to the Exchequer. I was heartened by the comments of the Minister at the debate on the Commission on Taxation and Welfare report last week, and I appreciate the opportunity to level in at this point. Thank you.
Understand, as I said, the very important issues that the deputies are raising, and I hope I've been clear in the answer that I've given, and we will continue with our work in preparing the budget.